Salute to everyone in the building. I hope the sound is clear. Please press a 1 if you're in a chat to confirm that the sound is good. Yes, look, before starting, I had to give a like limit because we have to get into the habit, if you enjoy this type of content, to hit the like, hit the comments, just to show the simple sign of appreciation, right? That's all I need to see, right? So it's worth my time. It's late at night. I apologize. I was supposed to be cammed up because on these discussions, I really want to be cammed up because, in my opinion, appreciate all the ones in the chat. Good to see everyone. I'm going to come back to the chat in a sec. In my opinion, I think this whole issue of black men feeling ugly, right, is a self-esteem thing. And by coming on and showing myself, it's almost as if it's a sign of overcoming self-esteem, low self-esteem issues, right? I did a poll the other day in my community tab. In my community tab, I asked if do men find themselves to be attractive, right? Do men find themselves to be attractive? And although the majority said yes, a strong second was no, right? And I assume that most of my audience are black men. And basically, this stream is to understand why black men might feel this way, why a lot of guys feel undesirable, feel perhaps unincluded in the whole dating game, right? In the UK specifically, but it could extend to guys in America as well, anywhere where black guys are an ethnic minority. Something that I've spoken about for years now, okay? And saying that, this is an extension of other live streams that we've done, other videos that I've done. This is a spiritual part 2 for the quote-unquote, why do black British men find themselves to be ugly? Something like that, something along those lines. And also a recent video I did is Tinder is not for black British men, right? So I'm going to give insights, personal insights, I guess, in the stream. I think it's crucial, right? Someone like me, because in my opinion, I think I have very stereotypical African features. By the way, check out my video that I just released about 2-3 hours ago. I've been a content making machine today. Check out that video. I think stereotypical African facial features, and in some people's minds, African features are listed as straight up ugly. Okay. And I understand it, right? I understand it because a lot of us growing up, we have stories of being ridiculed, being roasted. Hey, I don't laugh at the subject matter. I just laugh because I have a twisted sense of humor, okay? But I understand it. And that's why I guess someone like me, it's good to talk about it. I don't class myself as ugly, to be honest with you. But, it's subjective, right? I mean, some people might just look at my features, you're ugly, mate. But this is also another thing that I want to kind of tackle because, okay, if someone finds me to be unattractive, man, I'm not going to try and convince them, and I'm not going to be, I'm not going to feel glum and low. I just understand that I'm not going to be to everyone's taste, right? So there's also sometimes an element of entitlement, maybe, because I speak to a lot of guys who express these thoughts, right? And sometimes, I'm only saying sometimes, right, it might come across as entitlement, right? People, I should have this caliber or quality of woman, for example. So I want to do an experiment. I spoke about this previously. I want to do an experiment. Speaking of self-esteem, right? If you think about all the content creators you might view, and it might also extend to things like Teams calls, if you're working from home and stuff like that, out of millennials and Gen Z, right, younger people, who are most likely to cam up? You know, in your opinion, just put a Z or an M. Who is, well, I mean, it's a vague question, but who is more likely to show themselves, you know, present themselves, as in they don't want to be an icon on the screen, be it social media or on teams, right? I think that this afflicts a lot of younger people, right? Matt Game in the building says M. Inflate Ego says M. Yeah, maybe you can see what I'm seeing. I think that a lot of younger people are more so afflicted with this image issue, right? You know, a lot of older guys, big lips, big nose. It's like it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I find that a lot of black guys, even in the privacy of the Discord, for example, a lot of guys are not so willing to show themselves, and I think that is something that needs to be tackled. And I think that is a personal thing as well, right? But I could be wrong. You know, saying that this is going to be a call-in show, so you got links in the chat. You've got links pinned in the description below. So if you want to say anything about it, you know, on the matter, feel free to jump on. I'm not going to belabor for you too long. And I'll say that I'm not going to make this too reedy. I'm not going to pull up stats in this one because I think we know all the stats when it comes to things like online dating. I want this to be a more personal opinion type of stream. Okay. And I'm more so inclined to fix self-esteem issues, in my opinion, right? You see me in my dobok, that is my taekwondo uniform. I think martial arts has been a great avenue for improving self-esteem, confidence, healthy mentalities, right? I think at this point, we can't change people's minds about how they feel about what is attractive to them, right? And so a lot of this falls onto us to and how we see ourselves, I think. You know, but you know, I'm probably simplifying things. This is a bigger issue, right? And this is why I don't rate the Looksmax community, quote unquote, because a lot of these things, right, promoting products and certain habits, routines to boost your attractiveness, right, really going into detail, you know, it's going to make people obsess over their looks. And that's what I'm seeing. A lot of guys are just very insecure now and think that they need to be perfect, you know? And I think that's just, again, we're still in November. We're still supposed to be talking about men's mental health. And I think those are the types of things that drives mental health to be low, right? So yeah, I'm just going to pull up a few things that I think is noteworthy about race, sexuality, ugliness, and stuff like that. But then we're going to jump straight into a call if you want to jump on. If not, you want to stay in the chat and put out your thoughts, feel free to, okay? But yeah, please show support. You know, I really appreciate it. You almost lost me, guys. You almost lost me. I almost gave up, right, in my rant video a few Sundays ago. But I guess I'm too attached to this, man. So here I am. But all I need is some support. I don't mean super chat. Liking the video is enough. Commenting your thoughts. The community, building the community is enough for me, right? But speaking about super chat, actually, I got a few sound effects that I actually just made today. If you hit the super chat, this is what you're gonna hear. Super chat. Lit, huh? Lit, huh? I just made that today, man. This is, you know, this is the creativity in me, man. I've got a few more sound effects. Okay. Brutality. Okay. Mortal Kombat. Shout out to Mortal Kombat. That's for when someone gets roasted or something like that. You know what I mean? But let me go back into the chat and see how everyone's doing. Salute to everyone in the building. I know it's late, but you've made it, and I appreciate that. Sunny Sue in the building says it all depends on perspective, which is usually rooted in a mix of cultural and or mainstream beliefs, along with first-hand experiences. Absolutely good to have you in the building. We got Aaron B in the building with a that's a emoji, but it comes out in text. Salute to Aaron B in the building. We got TM in the building. Good to see you in the building, bro. He says a lot to unpack with this one. Hopefully, yes. You know, with more kind of insights on this issue. Because I know, you know, when I speak about self-esteem and stuff like that, I know a lot of people get annoyed because it's like, it's not easy, bro. You know, you can't just get self-esteem. And I believe that. You know, I think confident self-esteem comes by way of successes in life, right? Doing things that boost your ego gradually, that makes you realize that you're not a sack of, you know, I don't want to swear too early, but, you know, you have use. But salute to TM, salute to NA in the building. Good to have you in the building. Good to see you. Says like the video. Absolutely. We got Matt Game in the building. Good to see you. St. Cloud in the building. Good to see you. I noticed St. Cloud. Maybe my memory is wrong, but you always come up when it comes to this topic. So I'm guessing that this subject is very poignant, right? It's very relevant. So appreciate that. Good to see you. Jay Lou in the building. Good to see you in the building. Good evening. Who else is here? We got No Limit 7. Salute. Good to have you in the building. Online count in the building. Good to see you. Salute to you, bro. We got the fly on the wall that's a whittle. That saw it all. Okay, yeah. All right. Good to have you in the building. I remember you. Seen as ugly by who? That's a good question. That's a good question. Seen as ugly by who? That's a good question. Okay, we're gonna go into that as well. Inflated ego in the building. Good to see you. I think that's everyone. Ifechi Michael, first one to show super chat in the building. I really appreciate that, bro. I really do. And so you're gonna be the one who gets the first super chat salute. Super chat. Salute. You know, that's my voice, you know. I just altered the voice. That's my voice that says super chat. You know, just trying to add a little bit of quality here and there. But salute to Ifechi Michael in the building. Who else is in the building before we get into it? Salute to everyone in the building. Kings and Queens in the building. Another UK content creator, man. Good to have you in the house. Go check out his channel. Who else? We got Quincy82, another content creator in the building. Good to have you in the building, man. Good to see you, bro. Ifechi Michael says, seen as ugly by women of all races due to my sub-5 face and overweight body. Okay, so I guess we're getting into the technicalities, right? This is usually, what can we call them? Topics related to the BP, right? If you know, you know. Sub-5 basically means a person who is below, quote unquote, 5 in looks, right? And yeah, you know, Ifechi, I know you don't like to come on the panels, but it'll be good to have your point of view. You know what I mean? But okay, let me bring this up. Exhibit 1, basically. Where are we? Okay, let me bring this up. Okay, I hope the sound came through. Shout out to Austin Dunham. I don't watch this guy at all, but searching on this issue, right? He was the first. This was literally the first video that came up. Okay, so shout out to Austin Dunham. So a question to the people in the chat: is there a dating hierarchy? Damn, you saying there was no sound? Basically, what this guy was saying was there was a dating hierarchy. Okay, appreciate that in the chat. Let me figure this out, man. I don't know what happens with the browser. It's like you need to accept. Think, Ninja, think. Let me think. Okay. Let me do it old school. Let me take it here. Okay, put it here. Okay, let's see if this works. Nope. Bear with me, guys, man. I know live stream issues and stuff like that. One sec. Still coming through. Okay, no problem. We'll put that off. And then we'll play it.
Often overlooked. If you're not a white man, you got to put in a little bit more effort into your appearance, and you're overall not going to see the same success that an equally attractive white man would. That's because the world revolves around Eurocentric beauty standards, and there's a hierarchy when it comes to race and dating. So if you're not a white man, more than likely you'll have something called niche appeal, meaning that you only appeal to certain types of women who are into your certain race due to their upbringing, due to their network, due to their influence in media, and a lot of other reasons. But though everybody has preferences, you'll start to realize the more you improve all areas of your life, you'll start to become everybody's exception. Trust me, I've heard it a million times. I don't normally like black men, but you're different. You're not ugly, you're just...
One more time, just for the mess up on my part, okay?
Not white. You see, race is an important factor in dating, and it's often overlooked. If you're not a white man, you got to put in a little bit more effort into your appearance, and you're overall not going to see the same success that an equally attractive white man would. That's because the world revolves around Eurocentric beauty standards, and there's a hierarchy when it comes to race and dating. So if you're not a white man, more than likely you'll have something called niche appeal, meaning that you only appeal to certain types of women who are into your certain race due to their upbringing, due to their network, due to their influence in media, and a lot of other reasons. But though everybody has preferences, you'll start to realize the more you improve all areas of your life, you'll start to become everybody's exception. Trust me, I've heard it a million times. I don't normally like black men, but you're different. You're not.
Okay, so I think something that a lot of guys might be thinking, I don't know if you're saying it in the chat, is that some guys might say, hey, wait a second. Okay, this guy is a bit more, has a lighter complexion, doesn't have the typical kind of African phenotype, the West African phenotype, right? Which is usually a phenotype that has been used or, in illustrations as the classical Africoid, kind of appearance, meaning big lips, dark brown skin, big nose, I don't know what else is there. So I guess people will think, hey, what does he know, man? But I asked the question again, is there a dating hierarchy? And people have said yes. If so, I want you to tell me, what is the top three in your opinion in terms of the hierarchy for dating for men? What is the top three? So who's at number one in your opinion? If you can put that in the chat. And where do black men fall in that hierarchy in your opinion? If you can be bothered. I know it's late. You're probably just lounging, with your hands on your cheeks, laying on your belly on the bed with your feet up. You know what I mean? I understand. But, I've heard this said a lot. There's a dating hierarchy. Okay, TM in the building comes. White, mixed race, Latino. Okay. Matt Gamer says 1 white, 2 Asian, 3 black. Okay. J. Lou says 1 money. Hey, for real. Online account says Western European, mixed race, African. Okay. Ifechi Michael says white passing, and mixed. Okay. Quincy Jones says white guys, mixed race guys, then black guys. Okay. So I guess that another question, okay? 1, yes, 2, no. Is this hierarchy coming from dating apps and online dating, would you say? Or can we say that the dating app experience or the online dating experience is the same and translates into the real world? Okay. 1, okay, dating apps. I know my questions are kind of long-winded and, ranty, but hey. And they said stay away from Hinge and Tinder. Bruh. I remember I made that video, man. I made that video. In fact, speaking about online dating, I'm just going to read a small part I find interesting, okay, about online dating. No stats or anything like that, just a good part that I think is, in line with what a lot of guys are thinking, okay? So this is the wiki for race, sexuality, and this is a part called online dating, okay? In the 21st century, online dating has overtaken previously preferred methods of meeting with potential partners, surpassing both the occupational setting and area of residence as chosen locations. This spike is consistent with an increase in access to the internet in homes across the globe, in addition to the number of dating sites available to individuals differing in age, gender, race, sexual orientation, and ethnic background. Race affects how likely a person is to receive responses on online dating websites. However, this varies greatly by gender and race. Research has indicated a progressive acceptance of interracial relationships by white individuals. The majority of white Americans are not against interracial relationships and marriage. Okay, this is an American stat or article, though these beliefs do not imply that the person in question will pursue an interracial marriage themselves. Okay. Interesting. There's a few snippets that I find to be interesting, but do we basically, okay, a question, I'll keep it brief. Is the online dating experience the same as in real life dating experience, in your opinion? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Think about that while I read the rest. A small subset of white female online daters were found to exclusively prefer only black men. Check that out. White women were found to be 7 times more likely than white men to have an exclusive preference for blacks, while they were 11 times more likely than white men to reject Asians as partners. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing 2. So you're saying that it's not the same. Online dating and in real life dating is not the same, right? Am I correct? Okay, and so Aaron B says, okay, they only prefer black men because of BBC preferences. Okay, I think that's something we need to touch on. And he also continues saying nothing more, which to me, to be honest with you, bro, and I'm not trying to put you in the spotlight, but I find that to be, it's sad that we think like that. It's sad that black men think that no other groups of people will find them appealing or attractive outside of sex. I think that is a disservice, to be honest with you. I think there are quite a few qualities that people see in black men, in my opinion. Quote unquote black men. Obviously, I can't speak for everyone, but no, I don't think it's just about BBC. Right? I think a few streams ago, pause, whatever. I know most of you guys are younger, so you say pause when you speak about anything relating to BBC. But we did a little search to see who actually has the biggest, right, globally. And it wasn't really black countries like that, So I don't know if BBC is a myth. I've got a stream on BBC as well, so check that out. Cortez Smith in the building says, Aaron, BBC thing is a slight myth. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. But anyway, white women who describe their body type as thick, voluptuous, a few extra pounds or large were more likely to prefer only black men. And white women with slimmer body types were 7 times more likely to exclude them. Okay, that's controversial. I mean, I don't want to read everything, but the point is, from what I gather, right, it seems like although people, some people said, in this so-called hierarchy, black men are at the bottom, but it typically is that unfortunately, Asian men seem to be at the bottom. And I think there's a part that says that, Asian men and black women face more obstacles to acceptance online than their opposite sex counterparts. According to KO et al., The dating disadvantage of Asian men persisted even when they had advanced educational backgrounds and significantly higher incomes. Increased education does, however, influence choices in the other direction, such that a higher level of schooling is associated with more optimistic feelings towards interracial relationships. White men are most likely to exclude black women, as opposed to women of another race. Okay. A 2009 study found that a subset of white male online daters were open to dating women of all races except black women. That's unfortunate. You know, so it's basically saying that, like some of you suggested, there is a niche. All right, let me come back into the chat and see what you're saying. There seems to be a niche for black guys. Jesse in the building says, but I think black men are the most fetished men. Yeah, I don't like the idea of being fetishized, right? But I think there is a thin line between a fetish and, you know, just genuine attraction, right? I mean, let me ask you a question, because it's something that I sometimes struggle with answering. But if a non-black woman said her preference were for black guys, do you automatically think that that is a fetish? Or do you think that, hey, it's quite normal for someone to have a certain phenotypical type, right? Maybe they like the broader nose. Maybe they like the fuller lips. Maybe, you know, they like the afro texture in the hair. Maybe, okay, going down fetish lines, maybe they like the smooth skin. Maybe they like someone who can dance well. Maybe they like someone who's got swag. You know, but yeah, I don't know. You know, as time has gone on, I don't know if it's all just fetish, to be honest. I think, and this is what I think, and I've said this before, this is what I think about the appeal black men have, quote unquote. Again, I can't speak for all, but I think that generally speaking, it seems like a lot of black guys come from humble beginnings, right? We come from homes that, you know, we didn't have, might not, I'm not saying all, but might not have had great relationships with our family. So therefore we might be more inclined to build better relationships outside of the family, right? Some of us come from poverty, right? So we're probably less, you know, we probably are more willing to grind. We probably worked hard to attain what we have. And if you can do that, that affects your personality, right? Sometimes we have a humble personalities that I think a lot of women find appealing. That's just my what I've seen, right? It's not just even if BBC's on the, you know, the initial kind of attraction, it tends to go deeper after that point on a personality level, right? Maybe, but these people are a bit more empathetic, speaking of black men, because they come from situations where, you know, just weren't great for them. Maybe they're quite independent because they're a bit more, you know, separated from their mothers, right? They're not mummy's boys. You know, I think all these things has an effect, right, to determine what a likable person is. And actually, look, I know I said I'm not going to read. Look, I won't read a lot, but I was searching on Quora. Well, not on Quora, but I was just searching Google in general, right? And, you know, there is a list of what ugliness is. I was searching why are ugly people ugly, right? Or maybe why are black people deemed as ugly, right? And there is this list that I think a lot of people might think is cliche, you know. This person says personality and character traits make someone attractive or unattractive. Here are some off the top of my mind, right on the top of my head. Lack of consideration for others, ignorance and narrow-mindedness, prejudice against other groups of people, being self-absorbed, which is a big one, being extremely materialistic, another big one, you know, extreme vanity, showing off, bitterness and resentment, hostility and anger, superficiality, extremely judgmental, passive aggressive, manipulative, cruel, a lack of sense of humor, right? Being very serious, right? I think these attributes plays a bigger part, in my opinion, man. I think I've said it in the video that I just dropped a few hours ago. Like the attractiveness can only go so far. Don't know if guys have been on opposite end. Like attractiveness can only go so far. You need someone who is interesting. And speaking of attractiveness, there are traits that are divorced from just mere looks that will make you attractive. You know, I know what my fellow BP people are saying in chat. Oh, that's cope. Okay, but you know, some of you guys, when you do come up, and again, pause. But when you do come up, you're not as hideous as you think, which is a surprise to everyone, and that tells me that it's a self-esteem issue, right? Why is there a low self-esteem amongst us? If there is, and I believe there is, you know, people will say, yeah, Eurocentric beauty standards in the UK, particularly, you know, in Europe as well. But when we think about it, that is how it should be, right? The UK should have a standard for, you know, the people that are quote unquote indigenous, as you should expect for every other people around the globe, right? They have preference for their own phenotypes, right? I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's racist.
Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
Okay, we've got someone in the back. I'm going to bring you up shortly in a bit. Okay, I just want to finish off this monologue. Let me see what you're saying in the chat. Kings and Queens is laughing out loud at not as hideous as you think. Yeah, I mean, the way some people speak is like they're like ego with, you know, with the hunchback of Notre Dame, like in the shadows. And it's sad because again, it's more of the negative self-image. And I think that's really what I want to get into, right? Why do we have a negative self-image? What are the components of that? You know, I understand, look, myself, I'm, you know, again, I think I have typical African features. Growing up, I've mentioned this many times, a lot of women, well, if I'm being honest, but I don't want to go there, but a certain type of woman often will kind of deride and laugh at the features, right? So that might have impacted my self-esteem, but over time, as I grew up, I've overcome that, you know? So I understand the pressures and you know, what adds to this lowered self-esteem. Matt Gamer says it's low self-esteem because the results ain't showing. How do you mean? That's interesting. How do you think? How do you mean? NA says, I don't think African features are ugly, but you never know. Maybe some people only like a particular combination of African features on the man. Yeah, exactly. There's so many variables, right, to what this is. Maybe they like, I don't know, a big nose, small mouth, you know, bullet-shaped head. You know that type of head with the hexagon, whatever. You know. That's what I have, you know. That's why I keep a level 2 at the least. I never go down below level 2. Otherwise, you're going to see the angles in my head, man. Online account says, personally, I have heard it's the skin color, lips, feeling of masculinity, body build, as in firm muscles. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair enough to have an appreciation for those things. I'm not sure if it's a superficial ideal, right? I mean, a lot of us guys, you know, some of us guys say you like, I don't know, caramel red, or, you know, I think that's valid. At this point in time, man, my point of view as a guy in his 30s is that time is short. Life is short. Go with what you're going to be happy with what you like. That's the end of, you know, particularly us Black British people, ethnic minorities, who are put in a situation where, you know, some guys want to be quote unquote pro-Black, but you're not really you're not in an environment to facilitate that. So for me, my message to a lot of you guys is to do what's going to be best for you, what's going to fulfill you, make you content, make you mentally sound and happy, right? yeah. But I mean, I don't want to ramble on. I want this to be more of an open kind of stream show. So please do feel free to, if you want to come on, say your point of view. Let's make it a discussion where possible. Call-in link is posted, pinned in the chat, and at the top of the chat in the description to the video as well. What else is there, man? I mean, yeah, my angle is self-esteem. My job, I feel, on here is to convey how to improve self-esteem. You know, I think that's the most important thing because that relates into so many other facets of life. If you have low self-esteem, it's going to affect you. You know, you're going for, I don't know, a job interview tomorrow. You're already losing because you have a low self-esteem. Your self-worth is negative. You're probably going to fail, right? Public speaking, you're probably going to fail because of low self-esteem. But anyway, if anyone wants to jump on, I've got one person in the back. I want to, I guess, you know, understand if it's self-esteem or if it's environment or if it's a combination of both things that make black men feel ugly, right? And quote unquote struggle with dating. Is dating rigged against black men? If so, why is that? Is that globally? Is it just the UK? Is it a rural thing? You know, I know some people, I know brother TM in the building says, oh, you're from London, Falcon, so it's not quite the same. But I'm here to tell you that London is a very, very competitive city, you know, so it's like that. Equivalence, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's still a very competitive city. And if people have preferences, you know, I don't feel that's going to change because they are in a closer proximity to black people or black men, right? There's a lot of stigma still associated with black people, unfortunately. You know, so I don't think it's as simple as that. Kings and Queens says, I'll be honest, I love dark-skinned African women, all the better with a good attitude. ... Uh-oh. You know, so yeah, that's the conversation. Why are black men ugly? If so, why do black men feel like they're ugly? Okay. So feel free to come up in the chat. I'm going to bring up Quincy Jones. Quincy 82, man. Salute to you. Your camera's on. Do you mind coming on with the cammed up? You if you don't want to come on with your camera, you can turn it off if you want. It's up to you. I don't mind, bro. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
yeah.
You hear me?
82, man. How you doing? Yeah. It's all
I'm good, thank you. How you doing, Falcon? You right?
1 second, bro. 1 second. I think my sound is off. 1 second. Let me just sort this out. Turning back the Bluetooth. I got that trucker Bluetooth. Let me see. Okay, that's good. Yeah, Quincy, man, how you doing this evening, man?
I'm good, thank you, Falcon. How you doing, man? You right?
Yeah, I can't complain, man. I think this is the first time up, so I appreciate you, taking the time to come up on the panel.
No props, man. No props.
You know, but I mean, I know it's an open-ended topic. I guess, why do you think black men will see themselves as ugly, or why do you think? I think it's a silent problem in that we obviously the negative stereotypes aimed against us. Right.
I remember back in the day, back in the 1990s, when I was a teenager, and in the black community in particular, if you were light-skinned black man or mixed race, blue eyes, then you accepted. But if you were dark-skinned, you get ostracized and kicked out, and you get cussed out by everybody. Now,
in your opinion,
just by the black community, no, because the black women said, I remember when I was growing up as again teenager, when I was like 13, 14, 15 years old, and black girls they would love their light-skinned black guys or mixed race guys with blue eyes. And if you were brown skin or dark skin, they weren't on it. They weren't on you. Simple as that. Now it's reversed, because now if you're African, are you dark skinned? Oh, they love you. You're the king now. And not just that, other races of women like dark skinned black men now. You know what I mean? So it's just
it's funny, man. Like, what year is this? I say like maybe 2000 to around 2004. Right. My best friends at that time was one was a Somali guy, one was a mixed race guy. And I always noticed whenever we walk down the street, I don't know, in West End, they will always get the looks, right? So it's like, it's like the light skin first, the certain features first. And I always feel like, oh man, I mean, I won't hate, because it's like, yeah, it is what it is, it's not okay. They get the first dibs or whatever. But yeah, over time it's changed. It's like it's done a reversal. It's like those guys sometimes are seen as more or less I don't know, masculine maybe or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
And not only that, Falcon. If you're a black man, you're tall. Oh, you're gonna get girls. You're gonna get girls regardless. You know what I mean? Me, I'm brown skinned, you know, because I'm brown skinned black man. Because I mean, I'm lucky to me. I always had girlfriends because obviously my brown skin complexion came from my parents. Because my dad, he's mixed race. My mum's black, so my mum, she's full black Guyanese, and my dad, he's half black Guyanese, a quarter school Chinese. And you know, being a good-looking man myself, I had a lot of girlfriends in the past. I've been pretty fortunate, you know what I mean. But the only thing that goes against me, Falcon, I'm a short guy. I'm only 5'7". I'm not a big guy, so that's the only thing that counts against me, my height. But other than that,
do you think that's a big? Do you think a lot of women? Do you think that is really a big barrier, like your height?
What height?
Do you clearly think? Yeah. Do you think it's a massive barrier?
It can be. But I mean, if you're good looking, if you're a good looking man, you dress well. And you've got great personality. That you can compensate for it, but I mean, online dating, it can be a big disadvantage. If you're under 5'8", you're gonna struggle. But if you're 5'5" going below, you're gonna really struggle.
But do you think then, like the question? Yeah. I mean,
you go on.
That's online dating, right? But do you think that's the same thing in real life? Like people, a woman.
No, because it's different. It's different in real life because, like I said, I had a lot of girlfriends, and I'm a short guy, so I'm the proof that. And I've seen guys shorter than me get good-looking girlfriends, or wives even. So you know, online dating and real life dating is totally different situations altogether.
Right, man. Do you think then, if that's the reality, that black men should basically leave online dating, leave the Tinder, leave Bumble? Do you think they should leave it, or do you think there's still a place that there's still a role or function that online dating plays?
I say not to leave altogether. I say keep it there, the backgrounds, but and I apply this to myself as well. It's better to meet women in real life because you get to see them in person, and there's less. And I think in real life, there's less in terms of dating. There's less competition. Because when you're with that woman, you're not competing with thousands of guys online. You're just chatting up one woman, and she's focused on you, you're focusing on each other. Whereas in online dating, you're competing against thousands upon thousands, millions of guys throughout the world. So that's gonna put you at disadvantage if you don't fit the stereotype of what a man should be to the height, looks, stats, and whatever.
For sure. Yeah. Speaking about our upbringing, because I guess we both mentioned negative experiences. In terms of looks. Do you think, I know it's kind of controversial and I don't want to go fully into the kind of black guy, black woman thing, but do you think that it was only black women that were negative in the past about certain features and phenotype?
Oh yeah, definitely. From what I've for me, it was just my height. Whereas I've got other black friends who are either like dark skin or whatever, or they have certain quote graphic features. They'll get the black women dissing them big time. And I fought for them guys because they're really nice guys, and that's the reason why a lot of black guys date outside their race now, because a lot of black girls weren't appreciating them. So what they're supposed to do? Wait around, stay single forever? No, they're gonna go wherever who likes them, and a lot of non-black women approached them and generally did like them. And it happened from there, and then they got into long-term relationships. And at the same time, these same black women that didn't want these black guys will complain about, why are black women, why are black men dating non-black women? But you didn't want that guy. It's a silly thing because like with me, with black girls, they like me because of my height again, and they rejected me. So I started dating white women, Turkish women, Greek women, mixed race women, all sorts of races of women because they said to me for me, and I didn't have to be tall. Like my good looks, my looks and personality was enough for them. Whereas with black girls, they expect you to be like God, to be perfect. And what human being on the planet is perfect? No human on the planet is perfect. And unfortunately, these black women, they have this stupid, unrealistic expectation of what a man should be. And that's why a lot of them, they don't get what they want because they just every woman has a preference. It's fine, but with black women's preference, it's just silly, stupidly unrealistic.
Yeah, and many black guys mention that as well. But many black guys mention that as well, right? Like the bar seems to be higher in the West.
Too high.
For what? But if we're talking about Eurocentric, go for it.
Sorry, Falcon, because but if a black woman going for a white man, it'd be different. If a white man could be fat, ugly, short, bald, but yet a black girl's accepting who he is. But if a black man, you got to be bloody perfect. I've noticed that, and I see it all the time. I see some non-black guys, some crisp, good-looking black women. I see it all the time, and black men can't complain. Say, "Oh, that's not true." It is bloody true. I see it every day.
Sorry, I had to squeeze that in, man. I had to squeeze that in. But
no, that's okay, right?
I guess we need to unpack that then, because I mean, when we talk about Eurocentric features, right, we're in a lot of people's mind, it's like, okay, this stereotypical white person that, you know, prefers their own phenotype and looks down on the black quote unquote phenotype. Are you saying that in your experience, in your life experience, is that, you know, white people generally don't display that type of kind of contempt for African-based features?
No, I mean, not really, because I'm not saying it because, you know, when I can use myself as an example. When I do date white women like me, they like my features. It's different, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty lucky. And other black guys that told me this, they told me that non-black women like their features. So I don't see it as a problem, you know. I don't see anything wrong with people. I'll start again. A lot of people of their race stick to their own race. Most people date with their own race, right? But someone like myself, I date outside my race because I get appreciated more. It's not because of skin color or whatever. It's just and also their culture. They love decent black guys, but unfortunately, with black women, they love the fucking bad boys. And then what happened with them? They make the fatal mistake of having kids with these bad boys, and they come single parents. When they come single parents, that's when they want a nice guy, a nice decent black man who's got no kids, and that's why. I tell you this, Falcon. I'm actually SYSBM. I'm an SYSBM black man because a black girl don't want me. So where am I gonna go? You know what I mean? So
what does that mean again? Just for the people that might be watching and don't know, what does that mean? What does that stand for?
SYSBM means save yourself, black man. That's what it means. And I've been SYSBM since I was 12 years old, back in 1994. I'm now 41 now. I've been SYSBM for like almost 29 years now. Because, like I said, the black community didn't want me. Because I was too short, too skinny, whatever. Then when I do date out, they get upset about it. Which one is it? Which make up your mind up. Make your mind up. You know. And you know, I told you this now. More and more black men will date out. Trust me, mark my words for that.
But okay, what about the black guys, for example, that say, you know, I don't like dark-skinned women. I don't like women, a certain look on women. Aren't they just as bad, or do you think they are?
Yeah, they are. I think they are.
Opposite, right?
I think they're just as bad as well, because you know, even if you don't like the certain feature of that person, don't keep to yourself. You know what I mean? Don't. If you openly display it, you'll look just as bad as well. You know. But one thing I will say though, Falcon, mate, is, you know, the weave thing. I can't stand weave. I don't like it. It's not natural. The weave I can't stand. That's the only thing I'll say.
Is that really a deal breaker though? I mean, you know, is that really a deal breaker?
It is, yeah. I mean, I don't date black girls, but I'm saying if I were to date a black woman, she can't have a weave. I'm sorry, I can't deal with that.
Okay, fair enough. I saw something in the chat that I think it very meaningful. Falcon, it's not a black man thing. What is he saying? Falcon is not a black man thing. Okay, I hear you. Okay, talking about, you know, the myth of the BBC and the fetish thing. Do you, in your experience, right? Because a lot of guys with this kind of self-defeated mentality, oh, I'm ugly, I'm not attractive, I don't get looks, and people decline my approach or whatever. But do you think that non-black women, or maybe all women, the only value they see in black men is based on basically sex, on the myth of the BBC, like a physical short-term thing, and that's it, and then no value in you? Like, do you believe in that mentality?
Not really, Falk. I mean, in some cases, I mean, I never really experienced myself, but in some cases it could be. But for me, if you're an ugly black, say if you're an ugly black man, just for example, make up for it in other ways. Make up for it as in if you're going gym, working out, if you're fat or slim, dress nicely, have a nice haircut, develop social skills, get an education. All of this come to play will help you in the long run, because I see some ugly men in different races of people, and I see ugly black guys with some good-looking mixed race women, white women, all sorts of race women. So it's not really an excuse, really. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, you can, I mean, you can't. Your looks is determined by your genetics, by your parents, right? There's nothing you can do about it, or your height. What you can do, improve yourself, is your personality, get some education, dress well, and also all those sort of things. That will help you. They'll help you later on. Be well traveled if you can, and that'll be an advantage for you later on. You know.
Right. Have
So
you ever thought of yourself?
Say again.
Sorry, man. Don't mean to cut you. Have you ever thought of yourself as ugly though? Like
No, never.
Really,
Listen, I know, Falk. I'm a good-looking guy. I'm a 7 out of 10 looks, and some people could disagree with me, but I know I'm very well. I'm well aware of my good looks. I'm never considered myself ugly ever. No way, never.
But even with those women in the past who might have been like ridiculing you, did that not affect your self-esteem or make you feel any lesser than?
I mean, there were times when I doubted myself. Like there's days when I felt, I had my ugly days like everyone else. But in terms of the whole, in terms of my looks, no, because my dad's good looking, my mum's good looking. I'm good looking parents, so therefore I've got an advantage, luckily. But I never thought, apart from those sort of days I felt down about myself, and that's very rare. I never thought myself ugly ever, and people could say I'm narcissistic or arrogant, but I don't really care. I'm confident in myself. I love myself. You know, I know who I am. You know what I mean? I don't need a woman to validate my looks or my being, my existence. You know what I'm saying? So I know I'm good in guy. I know what I can work and what I can work and what I can improve. And that's it really. I don't really need a woman to tell me I'm good looking, because I know I am. You know what I'm saying? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's nice when women give you attention and say you're good looking or whatever. It's nice, but you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself, from day one, because you don't. Because you know, if even the world told me I was ugly, it doesn't matter, because I know. Listen, men, we know what our looks level. As men, we're aware what our looks level. We just know it's innate in us. You know what I'm saying? A man knows when he's ugly. A man knows when he's average. And a man knows when he's good looking. And a man knows when he's super good looking. I know I'm a good looking man. I know in terms of my look scale, and people told me this as well. I'm a 7 out of 10. I can go up to 8 on a good day. So it's not. I'm cool with that. I'm pretty lucky, but I'm also good at it. You know what I mean?
A lot of guys who I've spoken to say location is a problem, right? So
it can be because I'll tell you why. Because when I lived in, when I was 17, I moved to a place called Harlow in Essex, right? Because from all my life, from the age of 0 to 17, I lived in London, in North London. I grew up in North London. I grew up in Hackney, Edmonton, and Cockfosters, all in North London now. And I had girls all the time. And then when I moved to Harlow in Essex, right, I struggled a bit. I mean, because you got to understand, Harlow's in deep Essex, right? Near a place near Salisbury and Bishopsthorpe in Hertfordshire, and the girls there were hardly any black people there, and the girls there weren't really into black girls like that. So I struggled at first, but in the end, I still had a couple of girlfriends out there. So the location plays a key. Now, big cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, Bristol, Leicester. As a black person, as a black man, you do well to the mixed relationships here, interracial relationships here. But in small towns in Essex, Kent, Hertfordshire, you're gonna struggle, because the white girls there, they're not into black guys like that. They're not into black guys like that. They're not, you know what I mean? They're not. They could have that. Huh?
Yeah, why are they not? Why are they not into black guys?
Because I think because the two things they don't come to contact black guys on a regular basis. That's number one. Number two, it's what they see on TV. You know, I think a lot of these believe in stereotype black men in a negative way, and that's why they're sort of a bit more reluctant to date black guys. And I experience myself now. I lived in Harlow for 8 years, from age 17 to 25, and I came back to London in 2007. And I had about 4 or 5 girlfriends out there, and I've done quite well. And when I go, there's 2 nightclubs there, 2 main nightclubs I go to in Harlow. One called Passions, the other one called Millennium Nightclub. And for me, as a black man, I was quite rare, because every week I was to go to a club, I had to pull girls, and I was quite lucky. But there weren't other black guys weren't so lucky. You know what I'm saying? I think because I was from London, I'm different as well. I wasn't from Harlow, from London, and because of that London accent, I was seen as exotic to those white girls, so that's probably why. But not every black man was like me. But I will say this year, small towns outside London, you've got to struggle as a black man. I'm afraid to say.
I mean, people might look at you and think, "Hey, okay, you have Caribbean origins, right? And you don't quite look like an African, right?
I'm not.
Why did that make you laugh, though?
No, because obviously I know that because I'm lighter skinned, because I'm
Yeah.
mixed with Chinese and Irish, and there's
Yeah.
a guy in South America. I've
Yeah,
got an
you-
advantage in it, so I've got to be.
Do you consider that? Do you consider that an advantage? Like your mixed heritage? Do you think that's an advantage in like the dating?
A little
game in
bit,
the UK?
a little bit, because obviously, like, I don't think about anybody. I don't think about anyone. You know, I got. Listen, I've got more black African friends than I have black Caribbean friends, right? And the thing, I rate you more. I rate you higher than me. I'll tell you why I rate you higher than me, because you're the true black man. I'm not. I'm mixed. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think I'm better than anybody. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, being my mixture, in societal terms, I have a bit more advantage. But it doesn't mean to say I'm better than you or better than anyone else. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know,
So do you-
obviously, as they say, the more Eurocentric we as a man, more close to a white man as a person, as a man, especially a man, obviously you're gonna have it a bit more into the dating, have it more easier. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said earlier in our video live stream, but African men now, black African men, especially dark skin, they come up there, they're doing really well now. I see it. They're doing very well for themselves now into the dating.
Okay, but with what you're saying, then you're almost implying that you're not saying that, you're showing respect, but you're almost implying that black African look or black African men are bottom, right? Or they're gonna struggle. Like, do you think that's true? Like, if you had a bigger lips, a bigger nose, darker skin,
Yeah.
like, do you think that is those are attributes that will make you struggle in dating? That you might think of that image as ugly or unattractive.
No, not at all. I mean, okay, 40 years ago in the 80s and 90s, then yeah, you would struggle in terms of dating. But now in 2023, now you're doing well. Black African men do very well in terms of dating. They're doing very, very well for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the darkest African man you can think of, right, on West End
Reinforcements have
somewhere.
arrived. Reinforcements have arrived.
You still can hear me?
Yeah.
I seen really dark African men get some like a beautiful white
Hello?
woman. So these days you're doing well. I mean, you're doing better than most. In some cases, you're doing better than some white guys. You know what I mean? In some
Really?
cases, you know. But go on.
Sorry, 1 second, TM. I'm just muting you because we can hear you. So I'm gonna you can speak up next in a bit. Okay. Shout out to TM in the building.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, sorry, Quincy.
That's all right. I was saying that black African men are doing really well for themselves these days in terms of dating. You know what I mean?
Why do you think that is though? Because like again, we don't have those Eurocentric features, right? So is that self-esteem, or is that just luck, or is that just, I don't know, Afrobeats came in and people?
I think from what I heard, Falcon, I think Afrobeats came in, it became more popular, music became more popular. And now, like I said, they're doing really well. African men, they're doing very well for themselves, So dating, they get more popular, they get more love, and even I've seen even black Caribbean women that wouldn't even date back in the day. Most black Caribbean women would date black African men, but now even black Caribbean women, especially ones that are born here, they want to date black African men now.
Interesting, bro. Interesting. Well said,
Seriously?
man, Quincy.
Go on.
Well said. I want to see if TM agrees with what you've
Yeah, go on.
right? Let's see. But I mean, more or less, this is an open dialogue, so feel free to jump in when you need to. But TM, man, salute to you. How are you doing this evening?
No, I appreciate being here, Falcon. It's good to be here.
Hey, man, I appreciate you. It's been a while. I know we're in the city. But salute to you. I respect you and I appreciate you. So good to have you on. You said you're going to come on and you kept your word, so appreciate that. But first of all, before you put out your viewpoints, right, you can say whatever you like. Do you agree with what Quincy has just said?
I'm 50-50 on it, honestly. So the bit where he said, if you're in a small town and you're a black guy there, it will be harder for you, 100%. But then when he said that if it's a non-black woman and they'll be more interested in your features and stuff, that I do agree with. Like, they'll appreciate it more than if you're just a regular black guy in like a mixed area or black area. That's true.
When you say regular black guy, what do you mean? Like the classic, like me, like dark skinned, African looking, a fade?
I mean, when I say regular, I just mean like, it's tough to explain, but the only example I can think of is like a Steve Urkel black man, just like regular, what they'll call a square or something.
Right. But what do you think, man? Because I think you have a lot of opinions with regards to, you know, do you like? I know it's hard to just say, but do you think if you can look outside of yourself, do you think that physically speaking, black men, you know, it makes sense why some people might view black men as ugly?
No, I think it definitely makes sense just because obviously we're in the UK. The country's what, 3-4% black, I think, right?
Yeah.
So then, yeah, obviously we turn on TV, it's all white guys on there. So then girls are obviously growing up watching that. But then even, I'm not sure if you guys watch Love Island or...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you watch it, Quincy?
I watch it sometimes, yeah. But I've done a video about a couple of years back.
Okay.
What is Love Island? What is the basic? I've been familiar with it, but I just don't watch TV anymore.
To me, I'm gonna say, Fab, to me, Love Island is not for black people. It's not for black men. I'm afraid it's not. I've seen it, and it's not for us. It really isn't. It's for white men.
Is it about men and women trying to couple up, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. But it's geared towards white guys, you know. And if you're a mixed race, like when I say mixed race, I mean half black, half white. You're like you got white mum and a black, that sort of thing. That's all mixed race. That's all mixed race combination. Black guys, they tend not to do well in Love Island as much. You know what I mean?
If you're a black guy, you're going through hell on that show. It's guaranteed.
Yes, I'll never go in. I would never go in there. I would never go in there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. It's just any single black guy I've seen. Even what's his name? Even Ovi on there, he got rejected by that mixed race guy, and this is like a 6'7" black guy who was good looking.
Okay. This is like a good point. Now, when we say this guy got rejected, because you know, in some of these spaces online, the 666 features a lot, right? It's very prominent in what is considered attractive in a man. But you're saying this 6'7" man, you know, I don't know how he looks. I don't know how much. You know, whatever, but could this guy not have been declined because of personality traits that were probably just bad, or do you think it's mainly because of his look?
I think it was honestly mainly because of his race, just because at the point of the series he came on, he was the only dark-skinned black guy. I can't remember his name, but there was a short mixed race guy on the show who took the girl he was with.
So you think that it's primarily down to looking to his look, to being mixed race?
That the other guy got the girl?
Yeah.
I'll say at least partly, yeah, I think. Just because I think sometimes people look for any other reason but race. But I think it can't be denied that race is such a big factor in this.
You see, I mean, I agree, right? I agree. There's a lot of people who have preferences, right? And yes, as ethnic minorities, a small percent of the population, yeah, we're not good. It's highly unlikely to be the favored choice, right? Especially with the stereotypes that unfortunately follow us in our community, quote unquote, right? So it's like some women might feel like they're taking a gamble or taking a risk. And regardless of attractiveness or appearance, it's like all the other stuff. It's like, oh God, I don't know. You know what I mean? If they're thinking logically, right? But I still do think that a lot of it comes down also to self-esteem or how you think about yourself. You know what I mean? And obviously it's easier said than done, right? Like you can't expect people who have been subjugated to decades of a certain conditioning where they turn on TV, like you said, it's you know, white people presenting, modeling, catwalking, shampoo adverts or whatever. And it's like, you know, I don't know, the black people aren't really visible like that. Right. And it makes sense where you got people that might just not like your features, or even, you know, quote unquote, people from our own community will look at you and think, yeah, that's not ideal. Right. But do you think
feature point's interesting? Actually, I think I have a point with that.
What do you find interesting about that? Like, do you think, I don't know, it's just a vast array of components that are in play, in my opinion. Features, skin color, straight up racist people, or you know, I don't know. It's hard to just say, for example, the guy on Love Island, he got turned down simply because he was black, in my opinion. I find that to be, it's hard to just say that for my mind.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But then also I feel like from watching the show, obviously we're not there for the whole
Mhm.
day of when they're in Ireland, but from what it just seemed like, there'll be like small things. Like even sometimes I even send in the Discord, like maybe it's just me over analyzing some things, but even if there's just like a small interaction, I can just feel, okay, I feel like this is because of his race. Like even they used to do a show called Love Island After Summer. They'll talk about the show after, and even all these like presenters will talk about him. Everything they'll talk about his height, his body. I even said in the Discord, I was like, black men will always get compliments, but it's never on face ever.
Good point. Good point. We got JM Talks in the building, aka Uncle Thomas, the Tank Engine. Uncle Thomas. Salute to JM Talks in the building, man. If you're there, I know you're on mute. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm
You're
gonna
good.
keep it down a bit because people are sleeping. But
No, Jesse.
Yeah, no worries.
yeah, what's good? Basically, I've been saying this for the longest. I had to come on. I wasn't even expecting to come on and talk about this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And then check the background, right? But I had to come up and I had to rise up, as some pro blacks would say.
For real.
Basically, I think, right? I think it's just black people's self-esteem, right? That makes them think they're ugly, right? Because I want to put things into perspective, right? Men talk about, like, for example, people talk about hypergamy, right? Right. This is, and yeah, it exists, but it doesn't exist how people think. Oh, I'm gonna go with this woman, and she's just gonna leave for no reason because of it doesn't work like that. It's BS. It's because she lost attraction to you. That's what happened, right?
Say that again, sorry. Because she lost attractiveness.
She lost attraction for you. That's why she left, right? For whatever reason, I don't know, right? The thing is hypergamy, right? Based off how humans are, it doesn't matter what race you are. You could be black, white, Asian, Latino, whatever, right? You are looking for, in your eyes, the best, right? The best person to potentially procreate based off your own perception, right? So those people, by default, most likely are gonna be somewhat good looking, or maybe even medium, mid, based off their perception. Right, so it's very subjective, right? So, say for example, someone procreates with them, the likelihood of that child coming out ugly or hideous is very, very low, right? That's a scientific fact, right? Then you have kids who may come out with deformities, so on and so forth, and cool. That happens, right? And that's who we probably deem as ugly, right? In certain cases, right? So the idea that black men are ugly and so forth is nonsense, right? There's a lot of good looking black men. The thing is they deep down look at themselves as ugly and they perceive that and project that to the world. Right? It's how you feel inside, right? I've been saying this for the longest, right? And I've been trying to figure this, and like this hierarchy where, say, like, be honest with you, the hierarchy doesn't even really exist, right? Because the reason why I say this, right, is everyone has their preferences. There's gonna be ugly guys, there's gonna be good looking guys, there's gonna be guys with lower status, there's gonna be guys with high status, right? It's all based on subjectivity and preference, right? That's why, you may have a woman, a white woman, who probably lives in a predominantly white area, and I've came across them, right? Who have the get a black man starter pack with the flipping the hoop earrings, the Adidas tracksuit trainers, and look a bit ugly, right?
I mean the Air Force 95s or the Air Max 95s.
Right, those chicks exist, right? And they live in predominantly white areas, but they're still checking for a black guy, right? I know this for a fact, right?
Why is that though? Why is that? Is that fetish, or is that just I just like what I like? Can't I just like what I like type of thing?
That's what it is, right? And what Quincy was saying about some black women, not all, right? Because we can't make generalizations. But yeah, I agree to an extent what Quincy was saying, that black women tend to, not all, again, I'm saying not all, tend to go after guys that are the stereotypical thug type of dude, right?
Yep. Yep.
I've experienced it, right? Since
So far.
my days in college, right? I'm 6'3", light skin, yada yada yada. Somewhat of a good looking. People say I'm good looking, so on and so forth, right? And the only time when black chicks were checking me was when I was wearing tracksuits, hoodies, and I was acting a certain type of way, getting like these like tracksuits from like Seb's Bush, right? You know, your typical hip hop, you know, type of look, right? That's why I tend to see them going after. Now, there is an exception to a rule where there may be some black women who may go after guys who are upstanding, but those are the ones that I would say who were brought up in well-to-do families, a functioning household, and let's say healthy relationships. So they would basically attract that type. Those type of black women are kind of hard to find. I'm not going to deny that, but they do exist. I came across a few, right? So that's really that, right? In that regard, right? But the idea that black men think they are ugly and so on and so forth, so it even reflects into the content, right? Even the type of content that they put online. For example, you see like, how do I get a white woman? Or how do I get this? Or how do I get that? The reality is you shouldn't really be given a shit who you attract, as long as it's a good woman in the first place, right? Because guys out here are like, oh, your preference is cool. You have your phenotypical preferences and so on and so forth. But you can like your preference, but that preference ain't gonna matter when that woman walks out on you and breaks up with you. That preference ain't gonna really matter because she's gone, right? So that's really what I would say regarding that. Is I think black men, right, it's just they have low self-esteem. They've been brought up in households that are not really the best to their, let's say, conducive development, and then that affects their mentality in terms of how they grow up, and then they project that out in the world. It's not black men's fault. Sometimes they've been brought into these circumstances which they cannot obviously have any control over. Example, me, my father passed away. I was brought up in a single parent household. Nothing I could have really done about that. So you can't really blame that on black men, right? The reality is, it's in certain circumstances that a lot of black men being put in, which were out of their control, right? It affected their mind state, affected how they look, it affected how they felt they look. When in the grand scheme of things, it's not just about looks, it's also about your personality in terms of how you make the woman feel as well. Right? So this
So when is it time then? Like, you know, we can all say we come from struggle, you know, our family, this, that. When is it time for a man to overcome and say, look, I need to boost my self-esteem? Like, and who's responsible for that?
It's for them. It's just you.
Right.
The only person who can change the situation is you. Right? That's why whenever, like, for me, I'm chilling. Like, I'm good. Like, I know I have the confidence, right, to go and get a woman or get into a relationship, because literally, that's it. If you've attracted one woman, that you could attract more than one, right? It's just that simple. Once you attract the first woman, right, then you're good, right? You'll probably do it again. You got to put yourself out there. You got to work on yourself for yourself, and that's just really that. Go outside, do what you got to do, right? And you know,
that's a buzzword. A lot of these BPO guys, if you tell them to go outside, they'll say, "What? What do you mean?"
Right, but that's the thing. You've got to go outside. All of my girlfriends I've had, all the girlfriends I've had, all the women that I've dealt with, what all started off with me going outside. I've used a dating app briefly, and this was during the pandemic, to see what all the fuss was about. And I think it was Hinge, and then I basically deleted the app because I knew this was all bullshit. Right? Because in the end of the day, you have to go out. You got to have social skills, even if you have. Even if you have a dating app, you still have to have social skills, because when you get the match and then you meet up with her, you still have to have a social skills to actually connect with you in the first place.
It's true.
Right? So all of these
I fully agree.
Right, all of these donnies that are saying, go on a dating app, they're treating it like fast food. Like, I'm just gonna order in my Uber Eats. It's the same thing they're doing with women, right? When in a grand scheme of things, what they should be really doing is going outside, working on themselves, working on, you know, like going out in communities, right? Going to events that they have their own special interests, and there's going to be women there, there's going to be men there, you know, there's going to be people there, right? So, and the next thing you know, you meet up with this chick, you get a vibe, maybe become friends, maybe she likes you more, and then bang, you probably got a girlfriend. It happens that quick, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like my last girlfriend, right, even though it was like time ago, was I knew her as a friend for 4 years, and then we actually got serious, like like, and actually become girlfriend and like boyfriend and girlfriend, and she isn't even black, right? So that's the thing. Like people have to work on themselves, work on their insecurities, go outside. And look, I've even gone in the Discord and I said, hey, look, when my dating, like for example, there was a time in my teens where I was absolutely trash at dating, right? But this is what I did. There was a book, and I was even telling people in the Discord, go read this book. This helped my dating life, right, significantly when I was active, right, which is called Corey Wayne 3% Man, right? That book there, yeah, literally teaches you about the foundations of healthy relationships, how healthy relationships work, how to approach women, how to pick up women, right, and how to navigate in various phases of your relationship, right? But the thing is in the end of the day, with anything else, you have to put in the work, right? You don't just come in here and think, oh yeah, I'm just gonna chill with this chick, we're gonna meet up, and then everything's gonna happen. Like everything's just gonna go good or whatever. In some cases it can, but you gotta also educate yourself on relationships as well. Like regarding because here's what I find quite strange is, right, is people want to wouldn't mind educating themselves on getting a job, educating themselves on like getting money, educating themselves on a like, video game, whatever it is. But they think, okay, when it comes to relationships, let me just walk in and just see what happens. You get what I'm saying? Like same thing with what Archie was saying. Jump on a relationship and get in the gym. Like that's the same thing. Like even when it comes to losing weight, you gotta do it yourself.
Well said.
Right. Everything you want to work on, you gotta do for yourself. But then if I say to the guys that don't want to do it, right, then don't do it. Like no one's forcing you to do anything. Like what are you complaining about? Do you know what I mean? Like
1 second, Jesse, hold that thought, man. Great information, but unfortunately, man, 36 people are watching, but I only got 23 likes. So unfortunately, I'm gonna start having doing that Kevin Samuels flex, and we're gonna stop it right here because you guys like watching it, but you're not gonna support. So I'm gonna see. I need at least 7 likes, please.
Thanks.
I need 7 likes. Okay, it's coming up. I appreciate that. I need 4 more likes. 4 more likes.
Thanks.
Where are we? Okay, that's good enough. Well done. I hate to have to do that. Why should I have to pause a great conversation just to ask for support, man? Come on, guys. You know, but I appreciate you heeded the call, okay? But, you know, great points from Jesse. I think there's some background noise. I don't know. Might be coming from you, Quincy. Is there some background noise in a bit? That's all right.
Sorry,
I want to ask this. That's all right. I want to ask this to everyone though, because that's a part of the topic, right? Are black men in the UK, or maybe black men in general, are they actually struggling with dating, in your opinion?
I think so.
Because I don't know. Sorry, who said that? Was that TM?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? Why is that? Why do you think so?
Just because, like, obviously I finished uni like a year and a half ago. Just from what I was seeing out there and even in school, like there's a Jay Wise video on this. He speaks about why women have such.
I know Jay Wise.
Salute to Jay Wise.
He makes good.
He's good. He's really good. He's my mate. He's my friend.
You know, he does good stuff. But basically, in the video, he was talking about how women will basically always be disgusted by the average black man just because in school it was the top of the top black men who cleaned up in mixed areas. But apart from that, you don't really see black men with girls. But I don't think this stops throughout life. Like, I think genuinely, if you were to have like a survey on which race is struggling the most, the average black man will probably be top of that.
Now, for clarity, and don't disclose if you don't want to disclose, obviously it's private, but you're not in a major city, right? Like London?
Not at the moment. I grew up there, but not in the moment, no.
Right. So do you Okay, so you grew up in London, right? So do you then think, I guess you have a greater understanding of the geography or geographical effect? Like, is it a really massive effect where it's like, okay, you're a black guy. No, I don't date black guys. Is that really how it is in your location?
I wouldn't say that.
Mm.
Maybe not to that extent and not that often, but it exists 100%.
What does anyone else think? Are black men really struggling? You know, when I say struggling, like find it hard to find quote unquote love or to get a date or to chill out.
It
with
depends on
women?
it depends on your location. If you live in, like I said, if you live in this big city, then you shouldn't really. But if you live in a small town outside London, yeah, you're gonna struggle.
But most
I'll
of
tell you
the
what,
UK is these small towns. That's the
I'm saying it
thing.
from both. Say again.
I said most of the UK is these small towns. That's the thing. And also, like,
Yeah.
let's be honest here. If you would, let's just say a hypothetical scenario. There's a girl in the room and someone says, there's a black guy, he's at 5'5", and there's a 5'5" white guy. Most girls in their head picture two completely different guys. That's a completely different conversation right there.
Yeah. I think they'll go for the 5'5" white guy. You know what I mean?
Easily,
Because he's white.
easily.
Yeah, because he fits the European standard beauty of a man should be. Even be short. I seen guys. I'm 5'7". I seen white guys 5'3", 5'2" get good looking girls. So a white guy could, like I said, a white guy could be ugly, short, fat, spotty, but he ends up with good looking women. Why? Because he fits the European standard beauty. With a black man, a lot of us don't fit the European standard beauty unless you're like lighter complexion, obviously.
Unless
Right.
you're Superman.
Can I interject?
1
Go
second,
on.
Jam. 1 second, Jam. I just want to shout out MJA 2873. I really appreciate it. Yeah, salute to MJA 2873, man. Always showing love from the States with a $2 super chat. He says, great discussion as always. You stand on business. I appreciate that, bro, man. Good to have you. I appreciate your support. Always showing support. And I'm happy that you're enjoying this discussion. I really appreciate that. And salute to everyone on the panel as well, because they're making this stream what it is. So salute to everyone that jumps on the panel as well, because you're making it what it is, right? MJA, I really appreciate that. Yeah, James, sorry, you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, like, you know, the Superman, like, you
know what?
ain't gotta
I hate to be. I don't want to sound like a prick, but I know I am a prick to some extent. But when we're speaking about location, right? I mean, unless you're in education and you have to be in those kind of outside of the city towns, isn't it our responsibility to be in a place that will be conducive for these issues, right? Like, I've heard it so many times that guys complain about being in certain remote locations, but again, who's responsible for that, right? If we understand that a certain location is not conducive for many things or mental health, what can't we just move?
That's what I did. I moved back to London at the age of 25 because I knew that living in Harlow wasn't going to be beneficial to me in the long term in terms of dating. So I had to move back to my home city, London. You know, especially back to Cottbus where I live, Oakham and Cottbus where I grew up and lived, because it was a better chance of me meeting somebody for a long-term relationship. Whereas I lived out in London, it wasn't going to happen.
Sorry, Jamie. I know I butted in.
Sorry to interrupt.
Apologies.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll say it's on you to move out and just relocate to the best ability you can. I know it's easier said than done, but you got to find a way, really. Like where I live in London, the London White area, and let's just say that I actually if I'm traveling out, like I'll travel out to different places and meet different people. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll give you a few locations I went to where I was meeting up with chicks. For example, Croydon, right? Croydon at one point was considered my second home because I was going out so much, right? Where Croydon, I knew like Croydon inside and out. A lot of people knew me there, but that was because I built a lot of relationships and like, you know, people to meet up with, even to a point where I was having house parties in my own house, bro. So
is it Croydon like Peckham 2.0 now? Like Fulton Heath, Croydon?
I haven't been to Croydon for so long. I don't know what it is, but all I know is it's gotten worse. That's all I know. But basically is, yeah, like it's on your initiative. Say for example, oh, you're saying that you're in a remote location, then travel out somewhere, meet new people. There's apps, there's places where you could do new activities and stuff, right? And meet new people and build new relationships, right? Because I've been trying to explain to Donnie is that the quickest way to get a girlfriend, right, is to be in a social circle. That's the quickest way, right? Every situation I've been in where I've had a girlfriend or I've dealt with a chick, right, is because I was in my own social circle that I was in, that was, let's say, and then I was brought into a new social circle, right, and that consisted of guys and girls, right, and then I got to know them, and then people at that group, like a female at that group, liked me, and then things led to one thing. That's why you just got to be like, just move to different locations, go places where your special interests are. So your mindset is, I'm going to the place where I can enjoy myself. But hey, if there's a chick or there's someone that I could make a friend as, cool, right? So it's an indirect it's like an indirect solution where you're going to a place where you just got, yeah, there you go. Like Archie, yeah, a lot of black men are loners. Another thing as well is, even in your Discord, right, it's like a lot of black people tend to want to stay with other black people. Now, I could understand that completely, right? I'm not denying that. I get it. But if you're living in a country like London, if you're living in a country in England where the percentage is, I think it's 84% white, right? You're gonna have to learn how to learn other people's cultures, learn how other people are different cultures, right? This is why when I live, like for example, I am, to an extent, this may sound crazy as hell, right? But I've had like white neighbors, right? Some white neighbors have said that I understand white people more than they will understand themselves. Now, people will say, how is that possible as me as a black man? The reason why is I also look at their point of view, not just mine. Right? Same with an Asian, same with so on and so forth. And then what happens is, I get to understand, I understand how some people are feeling, right? Or I understand their culture, right? And that's another thing with black people. They don't take, it's up to them, it's optional, is understand the majority's point of view as well, not just the minority's point of view, right? And you may actually have more success, right? Even though, yeah, you may be of Caribbean descent, you may be of African descent, you're also British. So you're also going to have something in common with them also. Maybe a little bit different, but you still have some constant. So I don't really think any person could really day out if they wanted to, if they didn't want to deal with black chick. Right? That's all I've got to really say.
Great point. TM, I just want to ask you though, do you agree with that? Like, is it on us to move to the right location to get the right kind of recipe for success? However we measure that. What do you think, TM?
Yeah, I think it's definitely on us to be on these areas that suit us. I'm trying to do the same thing myself at the moment, just trying to save up. Like right now, on top of the job I have, I've just got a weekend job. So I'm just trying to save as much as I can.
Right. I mean, I think, like with what Jane was saying, man, even just traveling to other countries, it gives you a perspective of how, and I know, the passport bros is a thing, but it literally does make you see a different way of life, so it's not even just about moving around in your country, just moving around like for temporary measures to other countries just to see how people have it different. The world is big. Like how people see you in your current environment is very different throughout the world. So, I mean, people have a lot of negative things to say about passport bros, but I think generally speaking, that is another solution for some men who feel a certain way, right? Like, hey, go where you're valued. And I think, again, life is too short. If people view you as ugly in a certain location, go to the right location where you're not so, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's
true. Does anyone? Sorry,
go on.
No, go for it.
Oh, so I was saying with the traveling thing, of course, I think the traveling thing, that's a big thing, especially for black men, just because a lot of us, I think, will just tend to stay in the areas that we grew up in without doing much traveling. But I was even about to say, like, I've done not too much, but I actually lived out in Germany for a year.
How was it in Germany? What city? Berlin or?
I was in Frankfurt.
Ah, Frankfurt. Is that a bit more of a conservative kind of city?
No, it was quite mixed actually, but I'll say around there it was more liberal. So you had like a lot of Turkish people, a lot of Ghanaians there actually.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Would you say it's better than your current location in the UK, or more or
Definitely,
less the same?
definitely
Really?
better. Then again, I don't know if I had like the whole, what's the word I'm looking for, boost for being English or whatever. But no, it was good out there.
Yeah. A lot of passport bros seem to talk about Germany, and I've been to Germany many times, and I'm not. Well, you know, I went to Germany. I go to Germany for business, right? I'm not trying to do the pleasure thing, right? But I don't know. It's just, yeah, like you said, a lot of Turkish people. German people for me just seem on point, like focus, A to B. You know, but
100%.
what does everyone else think? Like passport bros is a solution for guys that just feel ugly, that just feel, you know, like the
I feel like
environment's
it's a
just not good.
temporary one.
I would. Can I interject?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So I've probably spoken about this like a few streams ago, right? About the passport thing. Like, I have no issue with people traveling out, right? I think traveling is a good thing. I want to travel soon, right? And hopefully I will be able to travel soon, right? But the thing is, it's really the reasons why you're traveling, right? If you're going out traveling and you're insecure, you have certain problems internally in you, and you're running away from certain problems, and then you're going over to another country to fix that. I think that's a bad mentality. Now, if I was say to you, oh, hey, look, I'm someone who's confident in myself, I want to try something new, right? And I'm not really getting, let's say, any success out of this current situation I'm in, then cool. I wouldn't say it's a solution. I'll just say it's an alternative, right? Another thing as well that guys can do is I've spoken about this. I've done this to success, right? It's something called census game, right?
Say that again.
Census game, right? I'll type it in the chat, right? And I've
Census game.
Yeah, it's no one could tell me anything. I was the guy who created it. So if you hear people, and I was trying to tell this to Demswood and a few others, right?
Shout out to Demswood, man. Shout out to Demswood, the old, you know. Shout out to Demswood.
So really, what it is say for example, and this could work anywhere. You could live in America, whatever, right? Go on Wikipedia. Say you live in a certain place. Look at Wikipedia and find the nearest place, right? Where I'm gonna explain, Ephraim, what census game is, right? Where certain demographics basically hang, right? So you can go on Wikipedia and you can look at certain areas or certain locations. It could be constituencies, boroughs, countries, cities, whatever, right? And look at how much of a percentage of that demographic is there within that area, right? Because certain guys may have certain preferences, right? Some guys may like white chicks, some guys may like black chicks, some guys may like whatever, right? So what the census does, right, is it tells you exactly the percentage, right, of the type of women that you want in that location when you basically look at it. And it is so much more of a cheap alternative to just get some experience, right, before you travel overseas or whatever, right? So I'll give you an example, right? Is Croydon, right? Croydon has Japanese women there, right? And this was something I was trying to explain to them because he likes Japanese women, right? There's a place in Acton, East Finchley, so on and so forth. And you could use this for any country or whatever because it may be diverse, right? Unfortunately, in certain cases, obviously, there's just going to be predominantly of one demographic, right? So you just go over to that area and you just chop it up with the local folks, right? Go speak with people, so on and so forth. Get to know people. Even if even your special interest is in that location, go there, right? So you go there, you could enjoy yourself. For example, I'll give you an example for me. Like, if I like video games and there's a place where there's like an arcade, right? I go to the arcade, I play video games, right? There may be chicks there, there may be guys there, so on and so forth. I'm doing X activity and we get social, right? And we're just talking. We don't even have to do this cold approach nonsense, right? You're in there because you're going to be talking about your special interest, right? And then you could and then next thing you know, it comes from the special interest to actually getting to know the person, right? It's literally a free icebreaker. You could be socially awkward and still do it if you could just talk, right? And the woman in that demographic is there based off what you have looked for at that census, right? So you never know. A Japanese chick may come into the arcade. All of a sudden, you're chopping up because that's where they're located. And then one thing leads to another, right? Like, I just literally give guys I just gave the guy, like, a simple blueprint. You don't even have to fly overseas, right? Now, if you want a chick of a different culture, you want someone who, let's say, is, you know, of a more traditional sense, someone who's more, you know, the man is the provider, the woman is the nurturer, right? Then yeah, you may have to travel overseas. You may have to travel to a Muslim country. You may have to travel to Brazil or whatever, because this, in the country that we live in the West, it's not really traditional. It's more of this equality type of thing where it's like 50-50. A woman is treated as a man is, and so on and so forth, right? With a few double standards here and there, right? But that's what guys can do. But in the end of the day, you just have to put in the work. Like, yeah, legit, Archie, like, census game is legit. I created this shit. I used to do this shit in my 20s, right? It works with great success, right? And they don't even have to. And the thing is, it's cost effective, bro. You could be broke and still do it. Like, just hop on a train. Like, if you're in London, just hop on a train. Like, easy thing, right? Or if you're in Birmingham, there's probably a place there, right? Things
Okay.
like that to do. But anyway,
Okay, I hear that. I think Quincy wanted to jump in at some point. Not sure. It was on the Passport Bros.
Hello, you still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think the passport bro situation is a solution. Now, if you're not getting the girls that you want in your home country, I suggest you travel. But before you do that, get your life sorted out first. Get your mind right. Get your game up. Because when I say game, I mean to have social skills, mix with different races of people, learn how their cultures are, and once you do that, you be fine. So I think the passport bro is a solution. But you need to get you need to sort yourself out first before you do any of that stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, speaking about quote unquote ugliness, right, and Eurocentric features, we know Europeans went around the whole world, and you know, in Asia, Africa, there's going to be South America, there's going to be some semblance of Eurocentric features, right? You know, it's there. So, I mean, speaking about an ugly guy, I know it's a simpleton kind of question, but would the ugly guy still not be seen as ugly if he goes to Japan, if he goes to Philippines, if he goes to Brazil, if he goes to
if he goes, you go and carry on.
No, I'm just going around the globe.
Well, I think if you're seeing ugly in one place, then I think you could be seen as good looking in other places. Well, they say that looks is subjective.
Okay. Great point, bro. Okay. A very African look, right? Let's just say a stereotype.
Go on, this is good. I like this. Is really good.
Big nose, big lips.
Yeah.
Bullet-shaped head.
Bullet-shaped heads.
You know, all the stereotypes, right?
All the worst stereotypes, the really horrible stereotypes.
What other country really would see that as attractive if they have been kind of corrupted with this whole quote unquote Eurocentric ideal of beauty?
It's a good one. It's a good one. You know, I've seen a YouTube video of African men, proper African men that you're describing. That you describe the look. They have the feature that you're talking about, and they go to a place like China, Japan. And they get beautiful Japanese and Chinese women, and it seems to work for them. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I mean, fair enough.
I've seen videos of African men go to a lot of Asian countries and get Asian wives, and they're not good looking at all. So it depends what part of the world you go to. I mean, even Eastern Europe, parts of Eastern Europe, that if you're an African man, African features, them type of Eastern European women will like you. I really, really like you. You know, you hear same stories of it, and but I think the problem when it comes to what you're saying about looks in terms of African features, I will say that the Western world doesn't really accept it as much.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I see this. I see the pictures that you're showing on your screen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find that stereotypical kind of look, you know. But okay, I mean, for example, okay, Brazil, you know, has a high African originated population. Do you think that they will be more inclined to, based off the demographics, they'll be more inclined to say, "Hey, no, you're a pretty man, you're a handsome man."
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think so because Brazil's got a big black population in Brazil, especially like places like Rio de Janeiro.
Right.
So I'm sure that black African men do well there. But in terms of Western countries, they're going to struggle a bit more. But that's not to say that it's impossible, because nothing in this life is impossible. You know, anything can be achieved. You know.
Mm.
But they will have a bit hard because they're not European white man. That makes sense, you know. Right.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I still believe, man, a bigger part of this whole attraction kind of conversation, self-esteem plays a massive part.
Yeah,
I think a lot of guys, and you know, I'm talking about the BP guys as well, that want to do face rating, like wheat waffle type of guys. They are trying to convey how women see attractiveness in men, which I think a man can never tell unless you're into men. You can never really, you can't grade a man. You can't say, oh, this is attractive, this is not attractive. You never know, right? And then we've got women's mentality, you know, stereotypical women's mentality. You know, I'm not trying to say everyone thinks like that, but from my experience, it's more so leaning on an emotional spectrum, right? So a woman might say, oh, I don't date a short, tubby guy, but then a few months later down the line, you might just see her with exactly that same guy that she said she will never be with, and then she will be, oh, I don't know what happened. It just you know what I mean? It's like people are trying to contain this attractiveness, quote unquote, in a box, and I don't think that's just how it works. Like, there's only so far looks can go, in my opinion. I don't know, but that's just me.
Yeah.
But TM, do you kind of disagree with that, or do you think looks is the biggest kind of proponent for success in the quote unquote dating arena?
I think in that scenario we just gave, where you said like if a typical African guy was to go abroad, it would depend on exactly where he's going to be just abroad, just like Quincy said. So if he was to go to like China or somewhere, I think just because they probably see all black people as the same, I genuinely don't think his looks would matter that much. But if he was to go to like Poland or something, where they have slightly more exposure to black people in media, I mean, then no, I think he'll struggle regardless, unless he's like a very good looking guy.
Right. Okay, how do we define good looking in an African kind of context? Like, I don't know. I don't know what you guys think, but I look at myself and I think, yeah, I'm handsome. I'm sorry. I know guys don't like a confident kind of black guy, but I've never really looked at myself and thought, oh, I'm ugly. I've never really looked at myself and thought, oh, it's like, I don't know. I've just always accepted that, yeah, I'm not going to be to everyone's cup of tea, but the most important person who is with me is the one that determines that, right? It's like, I don't really, at that point, I don't really care what anyone else thinks. I'm content. I look after myself, you know. I mean, I don't know what else people want, right? So I just think it's a self-esteem thing. Once that is fixed, you know, black guys can overcome this idea of being unattractive and undesired, and have a mentality that is, the glass half full rather than half empty. You know what I mean? But people say that's coping. I'm too hopeful, wishful thinking. I don't know.
No, that's how it should be, I think. But then I think a lot of guys are just on that journey to try and get to that point.
As in, to get that self-esteem up to that level.
Yeah, that self-esteem, and also like to the previous question, what do we consider handsome as a black man? I can see an answer in the chat. They're just giving examples. I don't know if I can give specific examples, but I feel like we all know, but it's hard to actually word it.
But what we think we know is that based on quote unquote Eurocentric ideals, is that a smaller nose, a smaller lips, a more, I don't know, jawline formation, a squarer head. Do you like, it's very hard to kind of pinpoint what that is.
I think when you get into like the jawline or so, I think that's just where it gets a bit too technical for me. I think in general, I'll say it's just basic, just like tall height, well built, low body fat. Whether that includes jawline or not, I don't know. Like clear skin.
Not glass skin, right?
Oh, glass skin. That's what I meant. Yeah.
What's glass skin? What's glass skin?
Look, don't get me started on this glass skin nonsense, man.
No,
Glass
what is
skin
it? I genuinely don't know.
It's basically if you rub baby oil all over your face and you look
okay.
You look like a shiny, like you look like this, basically.
Oh, that.
So this is the new trend. It seems like you look like you've just covered your face in like Vaseline.
Yeah, someone said in the chat, Austin Dunham, basically. That's a good example of like handsome for a black man.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, we can look at him and we can see that he's clearly got admixture in his lineage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Also, even with all of us in the chat, I thought we all actually come from different backgrounds, which I find interesting as well. Like, I'm Southern African, so I'm not like typical West African, but I still look African phenotypically.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like it was hard to do this stream because I think there's only so much we can talk about. I think at the end of the day, we need to find things that will boost self-esteem, and in my opinion, that comes from success in anything. I'm a big proponent of the martial arts. That is the quickest way to boost confidence, right? And I'm always going to press that. When I'm cammed up, I'm probably going to be in a taekwondo uniform just again to present that, because that's, for me, that is the main thing in my life that has made me go a different direction from just being kind of down in the doldrums and low self-esteem, and I think that people who don't go through that journey are really missing out on a confidence that they really deserve to have as people, living one life, right? But I think, I've already made the video today, so I'm a bit tired, I'm bogging out. But I just want to ask for any closing thoughts on the matter. The topic is, are black men simply ugly? Are black people ugly?
No.
Are black men struggling with the dating in the UK? Like, any closing thoughts on this subject, just to summarize or give a solution or anything like that, please?
I felt the video was I thought the live stream very excellent, very good. And
Appreciate
it opened up a lot of information I didn't even know about, and it was education for me to learn. So I thought the live stream was pretty good.
Appreciate that, man. You added a lot of information, so I appreciate you coming up, man.
No problem. Can I come again next time?
Of course, man. You're always welcome. Are you still making content, or are you doing?
Thank you.
Do you still make?
I love it. Falcon Black. I've been a big fan of yours for a good 2-3 years now.
I appreciate it.
Big fan of yours, and you've been following me as well in it. So
yeah, I follow you too. Do you still make content?
I don't know. I'm taking a break, but soon I'm gonna make some more new content. So don't worry.
Okay, awesome, man. But Quincy82, man, I really appreciate you coming up tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Have a good week ahead, yeah.
You too.
Right,
see ya.
Appreciate it. Yeah, take care.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Bye. Peace. Anyone else wants to go with closing thoughts on this subject?
I got closing thoughts. If TM wants to go first, I don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
Sure, it's up to you guys. Sure.
But yeah, no, I'd say in closing, I think a lot of black men grow up thinking they're ugly, but then it's a journey where they end up feeling, okay, no, I can actually do this. I'm levels, I'm this, I'm that. But I think it's just self-development for a lot of black men. But I do think in those early stages, yeah, a lot of black men do grow up thinking like that. And in terms of how black men do in the UK, I think in London, black men do well. But honestly, in these smaller towns, I think black men are struggling. Like, some of the girls I see black men with here, it's scary. But yeah.
I'll be interested to do a stream where we're like specifically pointing out locations in the UK. I think that'll be interesting if we can do that, like different cities, see what's going on. Because, I know, I'm a Londoner, London boy, but I don't want to make it a London-centric thing. I do want to open up my mind to other people's experience in the UK as well. So, TM, man, I really appreciate you coming on. You said you will, and you did. So I really appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no,
I hope to hear you. Yeah, anytime. I hope you come up in the future as well when we do lives, man.
Yeah, definitely. I will do.
I appreciate that. But have a good week ahead, man.
Yeah, no, thanks. You too.
Yeah, thanks, man. Peace. And last but not least, we've got James Talks in the building with closing thoughts on this subject to take us home.
Yeah, I'll put in some closing thoughts. So, I'm gonna say this. So, this is the cater to the black pillars, right? So, if you want to get a chick, right, this is what you got to do. Right, you want to get a girlfriend, cool, right? So, you got to bet 300 kg, right? You need to be on a 10-inch dick, right? You need to get 12 matchings. You got to make 12 figures, right? And you also got to learn how to fly like Superman as well, yeah. So that's to the black pillars. Now, to the people that actually want to, potentially get a girlfriend or so on and so forth, I'll tell you what you got to do, right? First, you got to put in the work. Anything that you want in life, you're going to have to put in the work. It takes time, right? None of it comes instant. Some people have, let's say, advantages, right? Unfortunately, that is just the case. Not everyone is built equal. But the reality is you're going to have to put in the work. If you don't know, you have certain deficiencies, educate yourself on things, right? Find solutions. Look in yourself introspectively and think at why this relationship went wrong and see what you can do in the next relationship, right? And basically go outside, socialize with people, right? And just play to your strengths, right? Eventually, speak with people, create social circles. In the end of the day, the reason why you don't have friends is because of you, to be honest, because most humans are social creatures. And that's just really that. I don't even have great social skills, and I still had girlfriends. I know a guy who's a friend of mine who is more, let's say, severely autistic. He broke up with one girlfriend, has already got another girlfriend. And this is an autistic person, right, that has, let's say, cognitive deficiencies. But most of the guys here probably don't even have that. So if he can do it, I'm pretty sure any other guy do it. The reality is you just have to put in the work. Prioritize what you really want. And be honest with yourself. Do you actually want to put in the work? If you don't, then just chill. Do other fix. That's all I got to really say.
And with that said, man, James Talks. I know you overrid your promise to not come up, but we always appreciate you when you do, man. So I really appreciate your talking points. Very informative and helpful, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
So feel free to big up your channels as well. So paste it in the stream anytime, man.
Yeah, I will. And don't forget Census Game. Rewind back to what I was talking about Census Game. If you think that it's difficult to find who you want to find, Census Game. I already explained it previously in the chat. But yeah.
Awesome, man. But James Talks, have a good week, man. I'll speak to you later on, yeah?
In a bit.
All right, peace. Okay, guys, with that being said, man, I really appreciate everyone that came through. Man, we got a high turnout. You guys really like talking about this subject, huh? Man, salute to everyone who showed love with the super chats. We got Ifechi Michael in the building and MJA 2873. Of course, you guys will be on the first message below the video, okay, for promotion. I just realized that I've completed my 24-hour fast. I'm going to break it now. You've noticed, man, you might have noticed that I'm firing today, man. Mental clarity from the fast. Walk earlier, sorry. Check out my video that I posted a few hours before. That's my walk and talk. I think there's a few nuggets in that video as well. But I appreciate everyone coming through. Expect more videos and streams in the future. Okay. But with that being said, hope everyone has a good week. I'm going to say peace.